Hare Krishna, Bhakti Mataji, Hare Krishna, dear devotees, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatadeshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Okay. Let's chat or prayers. As Mahatma Prabhu was saying, humility opens the doors of the kingdom of the God. We mentioned that during our last session on Saturday. And when I was talking with him after the session, we were saying, yeah, something similar we do. We say prayers open the doors of our heart, and prayers have to be sung with humility because we, of course, are not qualified and we don't know what to pray and how to pray to the Lord, right? But when we sing these prayers given by our acharyas, then the then that opens the kingdom or the doors of the kingdom of God. That's what he mentioned. So yeah, I was just talking with him, and he said, yes, that is how we should sing the prayers. So let's, in that mood of humility, offering our gratitude and respects to our acharyas, to Srila Bilamangal Thakur, who has given us this wonderful prayer that we have been singing. So we'll continue with this. I posted the link in the chat. Anybody would like to sing today? It's the same meter that we have been singing over the last 2 weeks, 21 to 30. If not, I will sing today, and then hopefully we can have more devotees recite over the course of this week. Okay, so let's start from 21 to 30. Sukham shayanam nilaye cha vishnum devarshimukya munayah prapannaha Tenachute tanmayatam vrajanti Govinda damodar madhaveti Vihaya nidram arunodaya cha Vidhaya krityani cha vipramukyah Vedavasane prapathanti nityam Govinda damodar madhaveti Vrindavane gopaganaश्च गोप्यो विलोक्य गोविन्दवियोगखिन्नम् राधां जगुसाश्रुविलोचनाभ्यां गोविन्ददामोदरमाधवेति प्रभातसञ्चारगतानुगावस्तद्रक्षणार्थं तनयं यशोदा प्राबोधयत्पाणितलेन मण्डं गोविन्ददामोदरमाधवेति प्रवालशोभा इव दीर्घकेश वाताम्बुपार्णाशनपूतदेह मूले तरूणां मुनयः पठन्ति गोविन्ददामोदरमाधवेति एवं ब्रुवाणा विरहातुरा भृशां व्रजस्त्रियः कृष्णा विसिक्तमानसः विसृज्य लज्जां रुरुदु स्म सुस्वरं गोविन्ददामोदरमाधवेति गोपी कदाचिन्मणिपिञ्जरास्थं शुकं वचो वाचयितं प्रवृत्ता आनन्दकन्दव्रजचन्द्रकृष्ण गोविन्ददामोदरमाधवेति गोवत्सबालै शिशुकाकपक्षं बध्नन्तमम्भोजदलायताक्षम् उवाच माता चिबुकं गृहीत्वा गोविन्ददामोदरमाधवेति दामोदरमाधवेति प्रभातकाले वरवल्लभौघा गौरक्षणार्थं धृतवेतदण्डः आकर्यमासुरनन्तं माद्यं गोविन्ददामोदरमाधवेति जलाशये कालियमर्दनाय यदा कदम्बात् अपतन्मुरारे गोपाङ्गणाश्चक्रुषुरेत्य गोपा गोविन्ददामोदरमाधवेति 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 हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे हरे गोविंद दामोदर स्तोत्रम की जय। श्री बिल्व मंगल ठाकुर की जय। जगत गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। Anybody would like to read the translations from 21 to 30?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I can read.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Devarshi Narad and other munis are always surrendered to Lord Vishnu, who happily rests upon his couch. They always chant the names of Govinda, Damodar, and Madhav, and thus they attain spiritual forms similar to his. Rising at dawn, having performed their rituals and chanted Vedic hymns, the best of the learned Brahmanas always loudly chant Govinda, Damodara, Madhava. 23rd. In Vrindavan, seeing Sri Radhika overwhelmed with separation from Govinda, groups of Gopas and Gopis sang with tears in their lotus eyes, Govinda, Damodara, O Madhava. 24th. The cows have already gone out to graze early in the morning. Mother Yashoda gently roused her sleeping son with the palm of her hand, softly saying, Govinda, Damodar, Madhava. 25th. With long, matted hair, the color of coral, and the bodies purified by eating only leaves, water, and air, the sages sit beneath the trees and chant, Govind, Damodar, Madhava. 26th. After speaking these words, the ladies of Raja, who were so attached to Krishna, felt extremely agitated by their imminent separation from him. They forgot all worldly shame and loudly cried out, O Govinda, O Damodar, O Madhava. 27th. Sometimes a gopi is engaged in teaching a parrot within a jeweled cage to recite names like Anandakanda, Vrajachandra, Krishna, Govinda, Damodar, and Madhava. 28th. The lotus eyed Lord was tying the shikha of a cowherd boy to the tail of a cow when his mother caught him, lifted up his chin, and said, Govinda, Damodara, Madhava. 29th. In the early morning, a group of his favorite cowherd boys arrived, stick cans in hand, to take care of the cows. They addressed the unlimited primeval personality of Godhead, Govinda, Damodara, Madhava. 30th. When Lord Murari jumped from the Kadamba branch into the water to chastise the Kalia serpent, all the gopis and cowherd boys went there and cried out, O Govinda, Madhava, O Govinda, Damodara, Madhava. Jai Haribol.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So Krishna doesn't wake up with the alarm. He wakes up by his name Govinda Damodara Madhava when his friends come with stick canes in their hand and they wake him up. Or they call him outside. Yeah. This is also like yesterday we were saying. This wonderful prayer is also in a kind of a song that Janvi Harrison has composed of Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Hey Krishna, Hey Yadava, Hey Sakheti. Right. So he's our friend. He's the jewel of the Yadu dynasty. And that beautiful song, and again connecting back to like I was saying yesterday when we were talking with Mahatma Prabhu, he was saying that we should chant. Um, Controlling the mind is one thing, but chanting from the heart. And actually, when we chant and we chant more and more and more and more, what we are doing is we are filling our heart with the holy names. And when we fill our heart with the holy names, then eventually, just like a jar or a cup, when you pour water, keep pouring water into it, eventually it will be filled up to the brim, and then it will outflow or pour out from the jar, from the glass, right? Similarly, when we keep pouring the holy names into our heart, then it will eventually overflow, and that is how we can connect that, back to this song, that my heart flows like a river to the sea. Our soul is meant, destined to flow back to the Lord. But when we chant the holy names and we fill our heart with the holy names, then eventually it will overflow, just like the heart will overflow, like just like a river, and it will flow back to the Lord. So in that mood, we continue to pray, and may the Lord and may our acharyas and our disciplic succession bless us, that we may be able to continue the chanting of these holy names to fill our heart, so that we can sing from our heart and we can flow back just like a river back to the ocean of Govinda, Damodara, and Madhava. Okay, so with that, let's continue with Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit. Yesterday, we are continuing from chapter 20, Staying High Forever. We saw the glories of the holy names are spreading far and wide since Srila Prabhupada performed the Kirtan in Tompkins Square Park. And there have been news articles in New York Times and in the Lower East Village publication. The devotees are very happy and joyful that the holy names are spreading. And Srila Prabhupada mentions that it doesn't matter the language they used or the grammar or the intent, as long as the holy names are printed and they are recited by everybody reading the newspaper, and everybody's lives will be perfect. So that is the power of the holy name, power and purity, that anybody impure comes in contact with the holy names, then the holy names have the power and potency to purify everybody. So that is the mood that Srila Prabhupada was very happy and joyful himself that the title of the article was Save Earth Now, but below that it was the Hare Krishna Mahamantra was printed. So he was very happy that both the newspapers have printed the Mahamantra, and anybody reading that or just reading the Mahamantra will be purified. So, and then of course his disciples, just like we've been talking about the themes of Sadhu Sangha over the past week, even though Srila Prabhupada himself was not there next time, his disciples went, and they were performing Sankirtan in the park now, and more hippies who had come there for a different kind of a rally, they were attracted by the chanting of the holy names, and they were, after an hour of chanting, just like we did in Sadhu Sangha, after 40-45 minutes of chanting, everybody stands up and dances, automatically as the raga and the tala changes. So similarly here, everybody was dancing and swaying to the melodies of the Mahamantra. And even the Prabhupada was not there, just like even in Sadhu Sangha, Srila Prabhupada is not there in Vapu, but his Vani and his spirit is always there. And of course, we had Srila Prabhupada's Murti, and like we were saying last week, it was a very special Murti of Prabhupada this time in Sadhu Sangha. And yeah, like the first thought that came when I saw, of course, was like, this is Param Vijayate, Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. So Prabhupada was in that mudra, holding his index finger and one pointed kind of message, saying that this is the topmost message, and the glories to the holy names, glories to Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Just like he did, or at least like I was saying, it reminded me of that lecture from B.B. Govinda Swami Maharaj last time in Kirtan 50. And Prabhupada was in his deathbed. He was, when somebody read this, something like this, like a newspaper article, actually it was B.B. Govinda Swami Maharaj was sitting right next to him, and Prabhupada was so weak in body, but as soon as they read the Mahamantra, and something like a newspaper article was glorifying the holy names, Prabhupada, who was very weak in body, still lifted his hand with his index finger pointed up. He said, Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Right? So those were his words, as B.B. Govinda Swami Maharaj reflected. So in that same mood, his Murti this time in Sadhusanga was stating the same thing, that Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. So wherever there is Sankirtan, the Lord and his pure devotees, even Sri Narad Muni is always there. Like Prabhupada used to say, when they used to do Kirtan, Narad Muni would be there. So similarly, Prabhupada is always there, was always there, and will always be there wherever his disciples and sincere devotees chant the holy names. So with that, let's continue. We are reading from this paragraph, the devotees. Anybody would like to read today?
I can read, Prabhuji.
Yes, Meenamataji, thank you.
The devotees hurried back to Swamiji to tell him all that had happened. He had been sitting at his desk, translating the Srimad Bhagavatam. Although he had not been physically present at the Kirtana, his disciples had acted on his instructions. So even without leaving his room, he was spreading the chanting of Hare Krishna. Now he sat waiting for the report. They burst into his room with shining eyes, flushed faces, and hoarse voices relating the good news. Not only had they dutifully chanted, but hundreds of people had joined them and sung and danced in a big circle. In a spirit of unity, Swamiji, you should have seen! Brahmananda exclaimed, his voice now exhausting from chanting. It was fantastic! Fantastic! Prabhupada looked from one face to another, and he also became like them, elated and hopeful that the chanting could go on like this. They had proved that their chanting of Hare Krishna could lead the love and peace movement. It could grow, and hundreds could take part. It is up to you to spread this chanting, Swamiji told them. I'm an old man, but you are young and you can do it. October 13, the Village Voice ran 4 large photographs of the love pageant rally. The article stated, the backbone of the celebration was the mantras, holy chants on the Sanskrit Bhagavad Gita, and for 3 hours it became like a boat on a sea of arithmetic chanting. Led by 15 disciples of Bhaktivedanta Swami, who operates from a storefront on 2nd Avenue, the mantras ebbed and flowed with the rhythm of drums, flutes, and soda-capped tambourines. October 18th, it was Sunday, and again they went to Tompkins Square Park. Swamiji played the bongo as before, striking the drum head deftly as ever, his nimble fingers creating drum rolls as he sat on the rug in the autumn afternoon. His authentic melodic voice recited the prayers to the previous spiritual masters, Bhakti Vinoda, Gaura Kishora, Bhakti Siddhanta, the centuries old disciplic succession of which he was the living representative, now in the 1960s, in this remote part of the world. He sang their names in duty, deference, and love as their servant. He sat surrounded by his American followers under the tall oak tree amid the maze like fences of the park. Amid the same magic occurred, this time the hippies came by with more ease and familiarity. Allen Ginsberg came again, and 100 others gathered as Prabhupada loudly sang, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Of the hundreds who came by, some stayed briefly and then left. Some decided to listen and chant for a few minutes, or even for the entire afternoon. And few, very few, marked their encounter with the Swami as an unforgettable change in their lives. Bob Gorens was looking for the Swami. He was walking with his stylish dressed wife and 2-year-old son, Eric. Bob was 26 years old and worked as a supervisor in the New York City Welfare Department. He had grown up in Washington, D.C., where he had met his wife. He had a full face and broad forehead, a clear voice, and steady eyes. Bob, after I graduated from George Washington University, I decided to go straight to what I thought was the heart of the material world, New York City, to seek out whatever was the highest truth. I ended up living around the corner from the first East Village head shop. Bob didn't think his job as a social worker really helped anyone. His clients over the years seemed to maintain their same outlook and habits. He and his wife frequented West Village coffee houses, had attended lectures by the Leary and Alpert on the expanded consciousness, and had taken part in a recent peace march. Bob had come to feel that his aspirations for a master's degree and a better apartment were unfulfilling, and he was looking for something more. Bob, I heard about the the chanting, I'm sure, a book that was supposed to chart a person's course in life. So I got someone to do a reading for me. The direction was push upward through darkness. I took it as a sign, a spiritual sign. Then I purchased the East Village Other, and I saw the article entitled Save Earth Now. There was a picture of the Swami. I had read in a book by Sikh teacher that there could be no higher knowledge without a spiritual master. Every morning on his way to work, Bob used to pass by the Swami's storefront. Curious, he stopped once and peered in the window, only to find an empty room with some straw mats on the floor and one of Swamiji's boys. Oh, these people are Buddhists, he thought. The door had been opened and the boy came over and invited him in. No thanks, he said, thinking, I don't want anything to do with Buddhism. And he went on to his job. In a head shop one day, he had picked up one of Swami's Bhagavatams and looked through it, but he thought it was too advanced, so he put it back down. After he read the article in the East Village Other, his interest increased. He thought that today might be the last Sunday of chanting in the park before the cold winter came, and so he went to the park hoping to find the Swami and his chanters. His wife was beside him, pushing Eric in a stroller, when he heard the ching ching of the hand cymbals and the chorus of rhythmic chanting from the south side of the park. Thinking it must be the Swami, he followed the sound, while his wife took Eric to play on the swings. Alone now, Bob drew closer, moving into the crowd until he could see the Kirtana party and the Swami sitting under the tree. Bob stood among a crowd of hundreds unnoticed. Everything is happening because of me, thought 19-year-old Judy Kozlovsky. Everything I see in my is my own creation, and I am the supreme. Everything is mine. As the thought of being God bless obsessed her, Judy forgot her father and everything else. She was confused. If I am God, why can't I control everything? And why am I so fearful on LSD? Judy was a student at the City College of New York, majoring in art and history. She was taking guitar lessons from the Reverend Gary Davis, the blues singer and Christian preacher who was teaching her the art of sad soul music. Today, however, under the influence of LSD, she had the overwhelming impression that she was God. She had had a fight with her father, who seemed cold and distant to her and could not understand her, and she had left her parents' home in the Bronx and traveled downtown. She was going to visit a girlfriend, and Tompkins Square Park happened to be on the way. When she reached the park, the Kitna was going on, but she could not see much because of the crowd. She weaved her way in closer until she could see some men, one shaven headed, several bearded, dancing with upraised hands. And in the center she saw the Swami sitting on the rug, playing his drum. Dan Clark was 25, thin, intense, horn-rimmed, bespectacled, an avant-garde filmmaker, and his first film was entitled Rebirth. He was conscientious objector to the Vietnam War and was working at a home for children as alternative governmental service. He had been a member of the SDS and the War Resisters League. He had been arrested during a protest demonstration, and he had been suspended 1 week from his job for wearing a peace button and a black armband. He was into Buddhism, but he had lately been adding a little psychedelic seasoning. Everything is nothing and nothing is everything was his slogan, and he would go around chanting it like a mantra. But he was feeling that, at least psychologically, he needed a devotional tonic. His Buddhistic meditation was getting stale. Dan had come to the park today looking for the Swami and chanting he had read about in the East Village Other. He had seen the Swami before. One evening a few months back, he had been waiting for a bus across the street from Swami's storefront. He was on the way to a rehearsal for a mixed media show, and his friend had gone into Sam's luncheonette for a moment when he noticed that in the storefront an orange robed Indian man with a shaved head was lecturing to a small group of young people. Then, when I saw him, I imagined myself walking across the street, going into the storefront, sitting down, and renouncing all worldly connections. But I thought to myself, it's only my imagination. After all, I am married and I am on my way to rehearsal, and I don't know anything about the Swami anyway. So my friend and I got onto the bus. But Dan lived only a few blocks away from the storefront, and now and then he would pass by. Once he had stood for several minutes on the sidewalk, looking at the cover of Srimad Bhagavatam taped onto the window. Then it showed an oval lotus with planets around it, and right then I was introduced to the idea of spiritual sensuality. And when I saw the painting of Lord Chaitanya and his associates in the window, that really threw me. I thought, yes, this is what I need, juice. Dan and his wife walked the paved pathway through the park. He was looking around for the Swami, but he did not really know what to look for. He expected to see robes and hear Buddhist style chanting, but he could not find anything. He had given up his search and was wandering around to see what musicians were there. And when he noticed a big crowd gathered around what he figured must have been some musicians, he was attracted by the beat of their music, a chiming 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, a simple rhythm with a kind of flamboyance and very magnetic. He saw an occasional upraised arm above the crowd, and he thought there must be a flamenco dancing going on inside the circle. He then got wind of a drifting melody, certainly not flamenco, which accompanied the beat, and this attracted him further. He approached closer and closer, marking his way through the crowd. Then he saw the people chanting and others dancing and waving their arms in what he took to be a blend of American, Indian, and Asian dancing. It looked like something from a long forgotten era. Dan decided that this must be the Hare Krishna group, but there were no robes, just the regular dress of the Lower East Side. And where was the Swami? Then he saw him sitting inconspicuous, playing a little drum. His eyes were closed, and his brow was knit with concentration. Should I continue, Prabhuji?
I think we can pause here. Thank you, Manumataji. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Anything that you would like to share on today's reading?
Yes, Prabhuji. The beautiful start of the moment where he inspired so many people now that the movement have started to take the shape that the word was getting spread even without his presence at the venue. So I think that was very inspiring, and that is what's continuing, even though he's not with us physically, but he's there. His words are there. His inspiration is there for all of us, like you mentioned that at Sadhu Sangha. I think this is the start of what we are starting to see there. So I think that's beautiful. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you, Manumataji. Yeah. His words, like you said, his Vani is there for all of us, and his books. And actually, one more incident. There's so many incidents of Sadhu Sangha. As we keep reading, see more and more thoughts come to my mind. But yeah, while we were serving in the kitchen the other day, I was standing next to one young devotee. His name was Mac Prabhu. So I was just talking to him about his journey, how he came into Krishna consciousness, and he was just in his 20s. So he was mentioning something similar about, so I think he was from Portland originally. That's where he went to one of his friend's house, and that's where he saw the Bhagavad Gita. And so nobody gave it to him. He just happened to see it, at his friend's house who had not even opened it. And maybe he had got it from some devotee somewhere, but he had just put it in his bookshelf. And this gentleman, he picked it up, and he was just so captivated and fascinated as he started reading. So he took it home, he said, and then he just started reading on just by himself, and that's how he got attracted to the philosophy and to Srila Prabhupada. And eventually, currently, and this was just like within a few months, and then he moved to Florida. So he's currently living in the community in, forget whether it was in Gainesville or in Alachua, he was mentioning. So, but yeah, that is the power. We say, just like a moment. So here we saw this person who was a Dan. Maybe he said he was standing at the bus stop, and just a moment of association, just a sight he had of Srila Prabhupada sitting in the storefront, and from there, he was attracted, and now he is saying he's coming back. So similarly, Srila Prabhupada is always there, even though he's not physically there. He's there through his books, through his words, through his kirtans, right? So just a moment of that association can bring a genuine soul back to him. So yeah, that's the power of a pure devotee of the Lord. Thank you, Meena Mataji. Anything else? Anybody else would like to share anything from today's reading? Or any memories from Sadhu Sangha? Anandini Mataji, Meenakshi Mohini, those who attended, and Vishwanath Prabhu has shared a few. No, if you're speaking, you're on mute. Okay. Maybe as we go along, we'll hear more. All right. So wonderful. Thank you once again, everybody, for your kind association and joining us on this journey, Sankirtan Yajna, that we try to do every day. And by joining together and offering this as a Yajna, we'll be able to invoke the mercy of our acharyas, invoke the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. And this is the only way, as he mentioned, in this age of Kali, chanting the holy names. So whenever and wherever possible, and of course this is the best time of the day when we can come together and chant. But as we go along our day, hopefully this practice, because practice makes progress. So with this practice, maybe we be able to chant anytime and every time, whenever we have time, right? Whenever, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, "Utte, bedte, khaite, soite, yatha tatha namale." So in whatever case, state or condition we are, we should strive to chant the holy names. And one day will come when this will become so natural that without chanting, we may not be able to spend even a moment of our life. So I'm sure that's still a theory for me, but for many of you, it may already be a reality. But hopefully for all of us, one day that may become a reality because that's the word of our acharyas. So may that come true by their mercy. Okay, so with that, we'll conclude here with Vaishnava Pranam prayers. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Anantakoti Vaishnavrinda ki jai Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol Hare Krishna. Thank you, everybody.
Prabhuji, have a great day, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.